The calmest nervous system in the room is the most magnetic. Your nervous system is your real currency.
Welcome to the Mastry Experience. I'm your host, Francesca, and we are diving deep into mental mastery. This is where self-awareness meets peak performance. You're going to witness the truth behind personal development, emotional breakthroughs, dissolving triggers, getting into flow state, discovering purpose, and most importantly, mastering intuitive action. And we do this through a process called HypnoBreathwork. This is your community committed to breaking behavior patterns, getting into alignment, pursuing excellence, and self-mastery. Let's do the work. This is the Mastry Experience. Shout out to Huel for sponsoring and partnering with the Mastry Experience. Christina Van Aert, welcome to the Mastry Experience.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Excited to have you. And we start every show off with a question from our Mastry card deck. And your question is, what is one belief you inherited that you know it's time to outgrow?
That things have to be hard for it to come to you, and that you have to work hard to get what you want. And I say that as you have to work hard, but I think what you're supposed to do should come naturally to you, and we all have gifts that we can take advantage of.
I already have chills. Because I feel like I was just reflecting on this, that I feel in order to have the success that I want, it has to be a struggle.
Yeah.
But actually, when I'm in alignment, things are flowing to me quite easily.
Yeah.
We're still working, but it doesn't feel like work when you're super in your purpose.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think we're taught like you have to follow the paradigm of a 9-to-5 job and you have to work hard to be successful. And I found that when I actually listened to my body more and I stopped trying so hard, that things fell to me easier. And I mean, that's not the case for everyone. I think everyone has to listen to themselves. But when I was trying really hard in sales or trying to like push that, it was so repelling that nothing was coming to me. And then once I relaxed and like accepted myself, I was like, oh wait, these deals are coming in, this is coming in, and everything kind of flowed after that.
So give us a little bit of background context, because you were working in sales and now you've transitioned to something completely different. So share a little bit about your journey.
Oh man, so I have my doctorate in physical therapy. So I used to work with a lot of neuro patients, like Parkinson's, MS, and orthopedic. And then I just realized like I'm such an empath that being one-on-one with clients was too much for me. I would literally sit in my car at lunch and be exhausted. And before every client, I'd be at my desk like, and then I'd be like, hi, how are you? And then back at my desk, and I'm like, I can't live like this. So I thought medical device sales was going to be my jam. Quickly realized that I couldn't do that either. And then I quit all of that aesthetics, and I was just doing HypnoBreathwork after this and Pilates. And then my monkey brain is what I call it, was like, no, you can't do this. You're not going to be able to live off of just doing this. So I end up getting another full-time job, and I'm remote in sales right now, but they're super accepting of all of this. Like I've even bridged that with this to where I work with lawyers now. I sell legal tech to big law firms, and I go to a lot of conferences. And so there was this Women in Trial Travel Summit. I emailed them and said, hey, I see you're doing a retreat for women in trial. Can I do HypnoBreathwork and do nervous system regulation? And they were like, absolutely. And then my boss was like, wait, why don't we sponsor this and do journals for them? And so they allowed me to do that. And so now I work remote, so I can work, off hours on all of this, and then also on weekends. So I started a TikTok just intuitively like 2 months ago, thinking that nothing would happen. Honestly, I don't have that many followers, but I've had like 12 posts like go viral that I'm like, I don't know how it happened, like out of nowhere. And I just love talking about nervous system regulation, HypnoBreathwork, stoicism, native wisdom, and making it so that people that are in between, like you're the same way, people that are high performers that are used to that sales or business and spiritual can feel like they can come together and live in both worlds, because I think we're told you really can only be one or the other. And I really think that it's beneficial to have everything in one.
Well, I think you're an anomaly when you can sort of integrate both of those worlds. And we love the same language of neuroscience and spirituality and all those things. And it was actually your TikTok video that I came across my For You page. And then I think it was like the next morning in my breathwork, I was like, I need to reach out to her. She has to be on the show. And that's just how this whole process of HypnoBreathwork works, right? We take one intuitive action step, and that starts to compound and it starts to ripple into our next action. And then all of a sudden your big dreams and goals and visions are starting to come to life. So that's really amazing. Tell me about what you're sort of sharing on your, what's the TikTok? It's
called the Quantum Chris.
The Quantum Chris. Beautiful.
Yeah. So years ago, I've always had, I'm Native American, and years ago I had all of these like little intuitive things that would come to me. Like I knew the day my grandpa was going to pass away. I called my mom like 6 months before and was like, he's going to pass away on Christmas Day. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I don't know. I just know. It happened on Christmas morning. I walked into my ex-boyfriend's at the time, his house, and I said, someone had passed away here. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then he called the realtor and someone did. And I can just like read people's energy in that, but I never trusted it. I was like, I'm not that way. I'm a science girl. I'm a math girl. Like, this is bullshit. Like, why am I thinking this? And why do I think I know this? And then I'm like, wait, this is neuroscience. This is quantum physics. This is stoicism. And then when I did HypnoBreathwork with you, I was like, wait, this is the bridge for all of this combined in one. And I just kept getting a nudge of like, you need to post about this. You need to be on TikTok. You need to start this. And I was so nervous. I was so like bad the first few posts. Like, what do I talk about? And now I just, whatever comes to mind, I talk about like astrology, numerology, ancient wisdom, HypnoBreathwork, but it all comes back to regulation and nervous system regulation.
And you have a quote.
Yeah. Well, I have a few. The calmest nervous system in the room is the most magnetic, or your nervous system is your real currency.
Ooh, I love both of those. And I think people are starting to catch up to that theory. Why do you think that is, that a calm nervous system is so attractive?
Well, there's a lot of science on it. So everything in life is a polarity, light and dark, exhale, inhale, all of that. And so everything is energy between you and I. Like, you can feel how people are feeling, even if someone doesn't know that. We all have the ability to tap into that. Yeah. And when you are true and authentic, that's the highest frequency above love. Yeah. So the whole world vibrates on a frequency. So everyone thinks love is the highest frequency, but it's really authenticity. And in order to be authentic, you need to be regulated in who you are. And so I think that's where that comes from. There's a lot of ways to describe it. We could go down a rabbit hole of all this. Yeah.
I'm actually currently re-listening to Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And there's, his Napoleon Hill's concept about having a burning desire. But now I'm thinking about David Guillaume and Kabbalah mixed with that energy. Yeah. And it's like having complete detachment and certainty and trust that it's going to come. Because when you sort of have that vision, that goal, and you act as if you already have it, but then you don't have almost the desperation or the scarcity of needing it, which I think is the calm nervous system, right? It's like, okay, I'm trusting that will come when it's most aligned, or when I've grown to be the person who can hold it. Yeah. Then all the opportunities start kind of floating in.
Well, it's exactly that. You can manifest it, you can wish it, you can journal it, you can write it down, but until you believe that you can hold it, and that's a calm nervous system, because you don't have the capacity to hold that future version of yourself. And I don't know if you know, like, Chris Corsini too. He's a astrology tarot like reader as well too, but he always says that, and he's like, every time I get to the next step in my success, I have to rewire my nervous system to have the capacity to hold that version, because if you don't believe it deep down, you can't actually get to it. And so it comes down to that.
I start every morning with breath work and meditation. I'm immediately in a creative flow state, and I get on my computer and I start banging out work. The next thing I know, it's already lunch and I haven't even eaten breakfast. Shout out to Huel for making sure that I'm still hitting my protein goals, because they have these delicious ready-to-drink meals packed with 35 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber. We have 27 different vitamins and minerals. My favorite part, you guys, no artificial sweeteners, and it comes in so many delicious flavors, including this chocolate, peanut butter, and my personal favorite, the iced coffee. And if you're looking for something where you can add your own fruits and veggies to it, then check out the Huel protein. All the same nutrients, but you can make it a little bit creamier, a little bit thicker. Shout out to Huel for sponsoring the Mastry experience. And you can use our exclusive 15% off code. That's Huel.com/Mastry. And Huel is actually now in Targets near you. So check them out. Shout out to Huel for supporting the Mastry experience. I was having this conversation with my brother because he's gotten really into trading and investing recently, and he's got some pretty audacious goals, and I love that for him. But I said, I get that you're doing all of the informational, the knowledge-based trainings, and you're gaining these skills, and that's amazing. But have you upgraded your identity? Are you doing the subconscious reprogramming? Is your nervous system ready? Are you on a cellular and energetic level ready to step into that kind of abundance? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's not in this world. But I said, we'll do the abundance hypno-breathwork session on Mastry and just let me know what comes up. He did it, which kudos to him, because
most people would not
exactly. And he did, and he sent me 4 paragraphs about seeing his journey with money when he went through a period of being in debt in his early 20s, what his caretakers were like with money, and then the journey of becoming an investor and how proud he is of that, and then how he handles himself through market volatility. And I'm like, that all came up in 20 minutes. And then he goes, I think I'm going to do this every Friday and just reflect on my behavior of that week in trading, and keep being in the vibration of what the type of investor I want to be. And that's the work. The work is not intellectualizing it. No. It's physiological, it's subconscious, and
it's where that mindset comes from, because you don't even know what is programmed so deep. Like, so many things came up when I did HypnoBreathwork training with you that I was like, wait, I didn't even know that was still a problem that I had to address with myself in order to get to the next step.
They're deep and they're layered. And even when we think we've healed one of them, as we continue to grow and we get more opportunities and we reach new milestones, ego gets activated again, triggers, new situations will come up, and we have to do the process all over again. It's a nonstop journey. It's a nonstop journey. So we have one person in common that we are just massive fangirls over, and that is Robert Greene.
I love him so much.
And I want to talk about what was the first book you read of Robert Greene's and why you're so drawn to his work.
The Power of Seduction. Power of Seduction was the first one I read in college with my friends. And I just realized that is everything in life. It's because seduction isn't about, I have a video on this, seduction is not about looks, it's not about success, it's not about any of that. It's how people perceive you. So it's it's what they think that you think of yourself is seduction. It's not even about the physical in that at all.
I find his work to be so deep. It's just thought-provoking, it's advanced, it's provocative. It's just, for me, it's almost like a masterclass in psychology.
It is. That's how I got into all of, the psychology and all of that, and Stoicism. And I know he's not directly in Stoicism, but he kind of is in some of his thoughts. They relate back to it.
Well, I feel like he's Ryan Holiday's biggest influence, so he should get credit for some of that too. I feel like we also talked about in the cert, The Obstacle is the Way.
Yes, The Obstacle is the Way is a great book.
I think everybody should read that book.
Yeah, everyone needs to read, I think, all of those books. 48 Laws of Power too. So The Obstacle is the Way is almost a book that I assigned to all the coaches in the certification, because it just talks about how every single challenge that you face is your opportunity for growth. And you'll become a more solid and a stronger person. And for me, that's kind of what I love about Stoicism, and the belief that, control what you can, and it's all about mindset. What kind of draws you to Stoicism? I have a morpha T tattooed on my arm.
I love.
And it's so funny because the White Lotus kind of commercialized that. I don't know if you saw, and they it's not even what it is and how they explain it. It's the love of fate, but it's not the fake love of fate. It's that everything in life happens to you, and you can make that your growth factor and your change, or you can choose to ruminate on that and let that be a victim mentality. And it's a love of everything happening to you because it's for a reason. And so your question on why I got into Stoicism and why I like it is because I've had a lot of things in my life, I shouldn't be here really, how I grew up and how I was raised. And I've just always been the one that's like, no, I'm going to make that happen. Like, no, I'm going to make this situation into my superpower. And like how I can read people is because I grew up in environments where I had to read people in order to like get love or to even feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just grew up in a very, like, my dad is a drug addict. My mom I had 3 stepdads growing up. She's a great lady. I love her, but I grew up with like kind of a difficult childhood.
Yeah.
And the belief that like you work a 9 to 5 and that's it, and like money, you're never gonna get to that next point. Like when I took a commission-only sales job, they're like, what do you mean you're gonna do that? Like, how are you gonna survive? So like that mindset throughout. Yeah. And then just relationships and stuff. So I just got into all of that, just being like, well, how can I get through this and make it better and change my past and my childhood and all of that.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah, they're half. So brother and sister, they're 7 and 9 years older.
Okay. And where did you grow up?
I was born in Redding, California.
Okay.
And then I moved to Grass Valley when I was 9, which is like a small mountain town, which is really great. Have you been there?
No.
Nevada County, it's like a very spiritual, like it's old Native American land that the gold miners came to. So it's like a very historical, like you can feel the energy. Like it's big spiritual healers, readers. It's very interesting. I think that's kind of why I am the way I am now in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And and just so attuned to what's going on around you, because you have to be when you're in kind of environments of chaos, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious, because of both relationships with your parents, what has been your sort of pattern or trajectory in romantic relationships?
Oh gosh, yeah. So I have I'm working through it, but I have had and still struggle with like abandonment issues and trying to rewrite that story. So I think I've chosen partners that they love me and they're almost there, but they just can't, and they run away at hard times. And I was used to that pattern because my dad was in and out of jail. I knew he loved me, but he'd be in, he'd be out, and then it's like, well, when's he gonna come back in? And I was trying to like rewrite that with all of these men that I would date. And I realized that I liked fixing people. And then I realized I can't fix people, and I want to meet someone where they're at. I don't want to have to teach them how to be, a human being in that way.
Exactly. So what are you currently working on right now in terms of either subconscious, reprogramming or nervous system regulation around relationship?
Yeah. So I'm constantly doing HypnoBreathwork. Like I do like once a week on childhood and like relationship wise. And I journal a lot about that. I actually started the Artist Way, and I've been journaling every morning. But I also started making candles, and it's very odd. It's like just intuitively I started making them like with intentions for certain things, and just having those like mantras or even that intention has like, when I light those before I do HypnoBreathwork, it like makes it a concrete concept for me to like go deep into. And I know it sounds odd, but it like really helps me focus on that.
No, I respect all the rituals. You know that I'm going to be guiding you through a HypnoBreathwork session today.
Yes.
Or you just found out.
Yes.
And typically I ask what I can help you move through today. But I feel intuitively I've worked through something very similar to what you are experiencing. My father lives in the Netherlands, so I would see him once a year, and we were super close and connected, and then I wouldn't hear from him when I went back to the States. And being 3 years old or 7 years old or 15 years old, never knowing when you're going to hear from him, created a really difficult relationship with ambiguity, and also chasing emotionally unavailable partners and proving myself to them so that they would love me. And the interesting thing, it's similar. And the interesting thing is I had to do a lot of healing in terms of being stable for myself and being whole within myself to attract somebody that was whole. But even when I had like a really healthy, consistent, conscious, emotionally available partner, I was still projecting my fears of him leaving, and created like a lot of erraticness in that until I had another HypnoBreathwork session where I saw that I was projecting and needed to heal. So what I would love to do is take you through an exercise where we are mentally rehearsing that safety and that consistency so that can be the expectation that your energy pulls in.
I know. I think that's great, because it's interesting just to go back how I actually found out that I was doing all of this is when I actually like accepted all these parts of myself and saw myself for like who I am. I was like, wait, I'm not fully accepting myself because I haven't accepted that I'm doing that. And I hadn't accepted that I was projecting on people or that I hadn't released that. And so that's something I definitely need to work on. So I'm happy to do it.
Let's see what comes up. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Christina, how was your session?
I mean, look at my thumb still. I can't even move it.
You have technique.
It was so interesting too because my mouth, like, I get this when I need to speak my truth every time. Like, it's like every single time I'm like holding back in something, I like can't breathe, and I feel like I almost can't close or like open my mouth. And like that's how I know that's like my thing, that I'm like, okay, I have something to say or to tell someone that I haven't been. And I'm like really big into chakras too, and like the alignment, and my neck at the end on the right side, it's the masculine side, like at the end started pulsing. That's not even like the heart side or like the pulse side. It was like full like movement right here. And it's like I've been leading like too much analytical, I realized too, on all of this, and being like, well, what makes sense with this, and should I do this, and like, well, if this changes it would be great, or this way. And I'm like, I can't think that way. I need to like go with my intuition, my gut, and like, speak my truth. And that's like the main thing that came up is I think I've had a lot of people in my life tell me like, who are you to kind of do that, or like try and keep things small, because I think they know that I have the ability and I can do more, and I am really powerful in that way. And I think in order for them to feel safe like keeping me, they want to make me feel smaller. And like that was really apparent during that. And it was just like, I mean, I've had people tell me that if they dated me that like know all this I'm doing, they're like, well, the candle business, that's awesome. I'm like, so you think that that's everything that I'm doing, and you want me to do that when I'm doing all this other stuff that is so much bigger than that, and so much more important, and like what I truly love doing. So that was really apparent too.
I want to break it down a little bit. In the very beginning, I had my vocal prompt to you was to see a relationship, to see the first person that comes up. What emotions were coming up in that song?
So like my first serious boyfriend, who I lived with for like 4 years, was in the transition of getting out of physical therapy and into sales, and he helped me a lot. He taught me business. He was very entrepreneurship, but it was very almost like that was the control over me. And like the creation of me, like he almost thought that he created me into that, even though I had that the whole time. And there are so many times where I would do anything to keep that alive and to keep him happy, rather than listen to myself or not say too much, or not get him upset. And I realize it's a lot of like childhood that I played kind of the middleman of keeping the peace in a lot of ways, and I transferred that into relationship.
In the next song, I had you see the ways that you had abandoned yourself. What was coming up for you there?
Not believing that that this is a part of my path, because sometimes I'm like, I always say like, I didn't choose this. Like I didn't go out searching for spiritual stuff and say I'm this spiritual girl who does astrology and who reads people. It's like, if anything, I pushed away from it for many years. And the belief that like, no, this is who I am, like this has created me in so many ways, and fully like accepting that. And if people don't see that version of me, then I don't want them in my life. And I'm accepting
I love
of that.
I just want to give you a reflection too, because I love all of your knowledge and I love what an intellectual you are, and the astrology and the numerology and the quantum physics, but then there's also the physiology and the neuroscience and the stoicism and the breath work. It's such a plethora of knowledge. And you're so relatable and so charismatic, and I think that the more you own it, like I'm so magnetized to you. You know, just seeing that one video, I was like, she's so authentic, she's so personable, but she knows what she's speaking about, and you're articulate, and it's fun. So I think the more you can see that it's really a gift that you can mix and merge all of these things. It's really unique, it's really special, and it's really powerful.
Thank you. That means the world to me. I truly love, like, it makes me so happy just to record the videos and combine like how that's all related. Everything, native wisdom, ancient wisdom, stoicism, neuroscience, it's all saying the same thing in spirit in different languages. And I think that's just, we're all speaking the same language and we don't know it.
But you have a unique way of doing it that almost modernizes it, and I think it's just really personable, and I think people are going to really connect to the way that you communicate it.
Oh, I appreciate that so much.
Towards the end of the journey, I had you feel safe and feel whole and be able to sort of give and receive love and visualize ideal partnership. What was that part like?
Yeah, it was really nice. I realized that and I'm creating a course on this too, and like cutting cords and calling your energy back right now too. It's called It's Already Yours. But I realized that I already have that. I've just been suppressing it, and I have been self-sabotaging my own mind. Even though I do all this work, I teach all this work, and I always say like I'm still in it. We're always still in it. But I have the capacity for it, and it's here, but right when it gets close to me, I sabotage it. And so I realize that it's really just going to be like, I need to really focus on this more attentively instead of pushing it out of my mind and thinking that it's fine as long as I work on other things, like this will resolve itself, but that's not going to happen. So I pictured me fully, embodying what I'm doing now, and even growing past that with Club Serotonin and all of that. And I'd love to do more stuff like this, and then being with someone that really supports that and is just like a shining light on that, and just is clapping for every version of me. Okay, that feels really good. It was interesting because I don't think I've said see yourself feeling supported before in a love session, but that word came up for you. Like being supported seemed like it was important. It is important to me. I feel like because and this is every aspect of my life, and I've been this way with my family, friends, I come off like I'm okay, even when I'm not, because I just handle it, and you're the same way. Like, we both are the same way in that, and people don't see it as you may be struggling or needing help or needing support, because they're like, she's got it. She's doing all this other stuff, like she's good. But it's like, really, no, I need the support from everybody, like everybody does. And I think that's something that I am missing.
I think it's a big growth opportunity for you to be vulnerable enough to say that, because for people who have handled it, like it's a strength of ours, but that armor for a lot of people, it needs to be verbalized, it needs to be communicated. We need to feel safe enough in asking for help. Like that's a part of our growth journey too, you know.
That's a good point. I do need to ask for it.
It's the self-expression, which is why your throat's tickling and pulsing and your mouth is vibrating. And then what was your next action step?
To really just, any time that I feel like I'm out of alignment, or I'm doing something or making myself small for somebody else, to stop it in that moment and to remember who I am and what I want, and never let a man or anybody change that vision for the future. There wasn't like a clear step, but it was like, remember this. Anytime it comes up.
No, perfect. That'll dissipate the reaction immediately and have you course correct. just really beautiful. It's been amazing to sort of watch you and see you trademark Club Serotonin and do these retreats and guide HypnoBreathwork. But then you also have the Quantum Chris on TikTok where you're sharing tons of wisdom. And then you said that you have a course coming out. Yeah. It's all within you. It's already yours.
It's already yours.
It's already yours.
I started a Substack to kind of like intro it, and then YouTube I need to put videos out. But
perfect.
So it'll be a workshop on my website. I'll probably link it on my TikTok too.
Great, and we'll link all that in the show notes for you too. So wonderful having you on, and thanks for being so open and vulnerable about your journey.
So lovely to see you, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, and if anybody else wants to experience a session like Christina just did, I would recommend the Daily Love Flow session on Mastry app. That one will open your heart. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Shout out to Huel for sponsoring and partnering with the Mastry Experience.